The government has taken a conscious decision that our exposure to the international sovereign bonds would be reduced gradually. In fact, now it has reduced to $12.5 billion from the $15 billion that was there by the end of 2019. And we would gradually reduce that with swaps in the short term and with non-debt inflows like monetization of certain assets in the longer term, and a lot of transactions being now discussed as well. And we would find that as time goes on, there would have been a gradual reduction of the ISPs, and then we would have a greater ability to absorb the interest as well as the repayment of those debts into an economy that is growing even more in time to come. Basically, the strategy would be a kind of a restructuring. Now, a lot of people think that restructuring means you got to go to the IMF or go to somebody else and then inflict pain on your creditors and have a big change in the way you deal with your creditors, and that would be the restructure. But if you talk to any banker, you will find that many banks restructure the loans of their clients by giving a longer period of time or giving a different interest rate or changing the mix of the loan, and that itself is also part of restructuring. Now, what Sri Lanka is doing now is to change the manner in which our debts are structured so that it will become easier for us to manage the debt as well. What have we done? We have made sure that some of the debts that are from international sovereign bonds are paid off with swap arrangements that we have done with individual countries, which have come at a much lower cost than the international sovereign bonds as well. There would be a period of around 2 to 3 years that we have in order to find additional inflows that would replace it, as well as other new inflows through non-debt inflows that we can then use in order to retire the swaps. So it's a type of arrangement where we are moving forward with proper plan, and that plan is the plan that we have already announced on the 1st of October as the roadmap of the central bank from 1st of October to 31st of March. I think we all would be the first to acknowledge that there is a tension, that there is a challenge, particularly because of the global conditions that have put a lot of people into that situation. We do see prices of commodities rising tremendously. The US is experiencing its highest inflation in 40 years. Australia is having shortages as well as experiencing high inflation. Europe is having high inflation, sometimes the highest in 30 years. So we are no different.